A separatist group in Pakistan is warning of, quote, even harsher attacks against Chinese interests in the country. This after 3 Chinese teachers and their Pakistani driver were killed in a suicide bomb attack in Karachi. The bomber, who is seen in this CCTV screen grab, is said to be a woman. The first time the separatist Baloch Liberation Army has used one in an attack. She targeted teachers of the Chinese Language Institute, the Confucius Institute, outside their center in Karachi University. The attack drew sharp responses from both the Chinese government and Pakistan's new Prime Minister, Shebaz Sharif.
We offer our deep condolences to the government of China and the people of China, and convey our sincere sympathies to the bereaved families. I want to assure you, on my behalf and on behalf of the government of Pakistan and the people of Pakistan, that we will hunt down these perpetrators, culprits, killers, and will not rest until we have caught them and given them exemplary punishment.
China firmly supports Pakistan's anti-terrorist efforts. We'll work with the Pakistani side and bring those behind the scenes to justice and ensure they pay a heavy price. The ironclad friendship between China and Pakistan is unbreakable, and any scheme to destroy the construction of the China-Pakistan economic corridor will come to no avail.
The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC. Now, understanding CPEC is crucial to understanding why Wang Wenbin just mentioned it. Announced in 2015, it is a 53 billion euro infrastructure project that passes through Pakistan's largest province, Balochistan. The main aim is to connect Gwadar port on the Arabian Sea to China's western Xinjiang region. Now, the project consists of a series of sub-projects to do with road, rail, and oil pipeline links. Now, all of this itself is a part of China's Belt and Road Initiative. For Pakistan, CPEC is a major component to boost national economic growth. And this explains why separatists in Balochistan, who've been fighting the Pakistani establishment for years, want to target it. We'll have more on that separatist movement later. But recent years have seen a series of attacks on Chinese nationals and interests in Pakistan. For instance, in June 2020, separatists from the Balochistan Liberation Army, or BLA for short, raided the Pakistan Stock Exchange, where 3 Chinese companies at the time owned 40% of the stakes. In May 2019, gunmen again from the BLA attacked a luxury hotel in Gwadar with the aim to, quote, attack Chinese and other foreign investors. And then in November 2018, the separatists attacked the Chinese consulate in Karachi. Now, Baloch separatists accuse Islamabad of exploiting their region's natural resources and call the Chinese activities, quote, an imperialist project. Dissatisfaction with the Pakistan government is also rooted in history. Now, Balochis see themselves as a separate ethnic group forced to become a part of Pakistan when it was established as a country in 1947. Poor economic and social development has also sparked resentment. Those grievances have fueled a decades-long insurgency. The Pakistani military have a strong presence in the region and are seen by many as occupiers. Activists accuse Pakistan security forces of torture and forcibly disappearing thousands of Balochi people. And joining me now for some perspective on this is Shamil Shams from DW Asia. Shamil, the Prime Minister, Shebaz Sharif, has promised to, quote, hunt down the perpetrators of this attack and punish them. But will this be assurance enough for the Chinese, given this is not the first time Chinese nationals have been attacked?
I think what Prime Minister Shebaz Sharif said is really important, but I think hunting down is something that the Pakistani military does, and that they have been doing for quite some time. So what Shebaz Sharif can do and should do is engage in a political dialogue with Baloch separatists and nationalists. They have their grievances. What he needs to do is restart this process of negotiations and peace talks. That's what is important, and that could probably curb the violence in the province and elsewhere in Pakistan. The military operation is ongoing for a very long time. It has not yielded results. It has only increased the problems vis-a-vis the Balochistan conflict. What China thinks about it, whether this would allay their concerns, is yet to be seen. There have been so many attacks in the past few years that I'm sure the Chinese officials, authorities must be very skeptical about these hunting down statements coming out of Islamabad.
I mean, you talked about initiating political dialogue. I mean, it begets the question, why has this not happened? Because the root causes of Balochi separatism or nationalism continue to be unaddressed, isn't it?
It's true, and Baloch separatists blame also the nationalists. So there is a political aspect to this conflict, and there is a militant aspect to this conflict. So the militant groups and the political groups both blame Islamabad for usurping their resources. And now they say that now you're handing our resources and wealth to China, to Beijing. And it is the poorest province in Pakistan. The people don't have basic facilities in the province. So there are grievances, and on and off there has been a political process, but it has been dominated by the military aspect of the conflict. But what happened recently and the suicide attack at the Karachi University, that's not also going to solve this conflict. If the military operation is wrong, it's not going to solve the problem. Militant attacks on Pakistani soldiers, on Chinese facilities, they are also not going to solve anything. This conflict will remain there. And this is not going to help the Baloch cause, the cause of the common people, I believe.
Talk to us a bit about the CPEC, which passes mainly through Balochistan. I mean, how important is this for Pakistan?
Extremely important, because Pakistan has been facing a severe energy crisis. As we speak, the Pakistani cities are without electricity. There is load shedding, as they call it. So the energy crisis is acute, and CPEC can help overcome it. Pakistan's economy is in a very bad shape, and now we see the negotiations with the IMF bailout, all that is happening. CPEC can connect Pakistan to regional markets. So there is no denying of the fact that CPEC has immense economic benefits for Pakistan. But at the same time, the government needs to ensure that all these benefits should not stay with the ruling elite of Pakistan. They should trickle down to the common people, the common Pakistanis, especially common Baloch, who have been complaining that they are still poor despite all the minerals and wealth in CPEC and all these projects in the province.
Shamil, is there a fear in Pakistan that these repeated attacks on Chinese nationals and Chinese interests could derail the CPEC for good?
I don't think so. I think that people believe that the Pakistani military can still overcome this issue. That the assurances that and it is also that China trusts the Pakistani establishment and the Pakistani military, the Pakistani government, that they would do something about it. If not in the short term, but in the long run. So there is that kind of guarantee that, and China believes that this could be, I think the project is quite big for China to just, they cannot just pack their bags in after like a couple of suicide attacks or, some militant violence on their facilities.
Too big to fail and too big to protect, potentially. Quite a challenge there. Shamil Shams, we'll leave it there for the time being. But thank you so much for joining us today and providing that perspective on this continuing situation.
Thanks,
Shamil.
Bye.